Om Sai Ram. Chapter 5. Baba's return with Chand Patil's marriage party, welcomed and addressed as Sai, contact with other saints, his attire and daily routine, the story of the Padukas, wrestling bout with Mohideen, and change in life, turning water into oil, the Sito Guru, Jawhar Ali. Return with Chand Patil's marriage party. As hinted in the last chapter, I shall now describe first how Sai Baba returned to Shirdi after his disappearance. There lived in the Aurangabad district, Nizam state, in a village called Dhoop, a well-to-do Mohammedan gentleman by name Chand Patil. While he was making a trip to Aurangabad, he lost his mare. For 2 long months he made a diligent search but could get no trace of the lost mare. After being disappointed, he returned from Aurangabad with the saddle on his back. After travelling 4 course and a half, he came on the way to a mango tree at the foot of which sat a fakir, queer fellow. He had a cap on his head, wore kafni, long robe, and had a satka, short stick, under his arm, and he was preparing to smoke a chilam, pipe. On seeing Chand Patil pass by, he called out to him and asked him to have a smoke and to rest a little. The queer fellow or fakir asked him about the saddle. Chand Patil replied that it was of his mare, which was lost some time back. The fakir asked him to make a search in the Nala close by. He went, and the wonder of wonders, he found the mare there. He thought that the fakir was not an ordinary man, but an Avalia, a great saint. He returned to the fakir with the mare. A chilam was ready for being smoked, but 2 things were wanting: fire to light the pipe and water to wet the chapi, piece of cloth through which smoke is drawn up. The fakir took his prong and thrust it forcibly into the ground, and out came a live ember which he put on the pipe. Then he dashed the satka on the ground, from where water began to ooze. The chapi was wetted with that water, then wrung out and wrapped round the pipe. Thus, everything being complete, the fakir smoked the chilam and then gave it also to Chand Patil. On seeing all this, Chand Patil was wonderstruck. He requested the fakir to come to his home and accept his hospitality. Next day he went to Patil's house and stayed there for some time. Patil was a village officer of Dhoop. His wife's brother's son was to be married and the bride was from Shirdi. So Patil made preparations to start for Shirdi for the marriage. The fakir also accompanied the marriage party. The marriage went off without any hitch. The party returned to Dhoop, except the fakir, who stayed back in Shirdi and remained there forever. How the fakir got the name Sai. When the marriage party came to Shirdi, it alighted at the foot of a banyan tree in Bhagat Malsapati's field near Khandoba's temple. The carts were loosened in the open courtyard of Khandoba's temple, and the members of the party descended one by one, and the fakir also got down. Bhagat Malsapati saw the young fakir getting down and accosted him. Ya Sai, welcome Sai. Others also addressed him as Sai, and thenceforth he became Sai Baba. Contact with other saints. Sai Baba began to stay in a deserted masjid. One saint named Devi Das had been living in Shirdi for many years before Baba came there. Baba liked his company. He stayed with him in the Maruti temple in the Chavdi, and for some time lived alone. Then came another saint by name Janki Das. Baba spent most of his time in talking with him, or Janki Das went to Baba's residence. So also one Vaishya householder saint from Puntambe by name Gangagir always frequented Shirdi. When he first saw Sai Baba carrying pitchers of water in both hands for watering the garden, he was amazed and said openly, "Blessed is Shirdi that it got this precious jewel. This man is carrying water today, but he is not an ordinary fellow. As this land Shirdi was fortunate and meritorious, it secured this jewel." So also one famous saint by name Anandanath of Yevla Mat, a disciple of Akkalkot Maharaj, came to Shirdi with some people. When he saw Sai Baba, he said openly, "This is a precious diamond in reality. Though he looks like an ordinary man, he is not a gur, ordinary stone, but a diamond. You will realize this in the near future." Saying this, he returned to Yevla. This was said while Sai Baba was a youngster. Baba's dress and daily routine. In his young days, Sai Baba grew the hair on his head, never had his head shaved. He dressed like an athlete. When he went to Rahata, 3 miles from Shirdi, he brought with him small plants of marigold, jay and jui, and after cleaning them, he planted and watered them. A devotee by name Vaman Tatya supplied him daily with 2 unbaked earthen pitchers. With these, Baba himself used to water the plants. He drew water from the well and carried the pitchers on his shoulders. In the evening, the pitchers were kept at the foot of the neem tree. As soon as they were placed there, they broke, as they were made of mud and not baked. Next day, Tatya supplied 2 fresh pitchers. This course went on for 3 years, and with Sai Baba's toil and effort, there grew a garden. On this site at present stands the big mansion Samadhi Mandir of Baba, which is now frequented by so many devotees. The story of Paduka's footprints under the neem tree. A devotee of Akkalkot Maharaj by name Bhai Krishnaji Ali Bakar worshipped the photo of Akkalkot Maharaj. He once thought of going to Akkalkot, Sholapur district, take the darshan of the Paduka's footprints of the Maharaj, and offer his sincere prayer there. But before he could go there, he got a vision in his dream. Akkalkot Maharaj appeared in the vision and said to him, "Now Shirdi is my resting place. Go there and offer your worship." So Bhai changed his plan and came to Shirdi, worshipped Baba, stayed there for 6 months, and was happy. As a reminiscence of this vision, etc., he prepared the Padukas and installed them on an auspicious day of Shravan, Shaka 1834, 1912 AD, under the neem tree with due ceremonies and formalities conducted by Dada Kelkar and Upasani. One Dikshit Brahman was appointed for worship, and the management was entrusted to devotee Sagun. Complete version of this story. Mr. B.V. Dev, retired Mamlatdar of Thana and a great devotee of Sai Baba, made inquiries about this matter with Sagun Meru Naik and Govind Kamlakar Dikshit, and has published a full version of the Padukas in Sai Leela, volume 11, number 1, page 25. It runs as follows. In 1834 Shaka, 1912 AD, one Dr. Ramrao Kothare of Mumbai came to Shirdi for Baba's darshan. His compounder and his friend Bhai Krishnaji Ali Bakar accompanied him. The compounder and Bhai became intimate with Sagun Meru Naik and G.K. Dikshit. While discussing things, these persons thought that there must be some memorial of Sai Baba's first advent at Shirdi and his sitting under the holy neem tree. They thought of installing Baba's Padukas there and were going to make them of some rough stone. Then Bhai's friends, the compounder, suggested that if this matter was made known to his master, Dr. Ramrao Kothare, he would prepare nice Padukas for this purpose. All liked this proposal, and Dr. Kothare was informed of it. He came to Shirdi and drew a plan of the Padukas. He went to Upasani Maharaj in Khandoba's temple and showed him his plan. The latter made many improvements, drew lotus flowers, conch, disc, mace, etc., and suggested that the following shlok regarding neem tree's greatness and Baba's yogic powers be inscribed. The verse was as follows. I bow to the Lord Sainath, who by his constant stay at the foot of the neem tree, though bitter and unpleasant, made it was yet oozing nectar. The oozing of this tree is called Amrit, that is nectar, on account of its healing properties, superior than the Kalp Vriksha, wish-fulfilling tree. Upasani's suggestions were accepted and carried out. The Padukas were made in Mumbai and sent to Shirdi with the compounder. Baba said that they should be installed on the Purnima, 15th day of Shravan. On that day at 11 a.m., G.K. Dikshit brought them on his head from Khandoba's temple to the Dwarka Mai Masjid in a procession. Baba touched the Padukas, saying that these are the feet of the Lord, and asked the people to install them at the foot of the neem tree. A day earlier, one Parsi devotee of Mumbai named Pastha Sheth sent ₹25 by money order. Baba gave this sum for the installation of the Padukas. The total expense of installation came up to ₹100, out of which ₹75 were collected by subscriptions. For the first 5 years, G.K. Dikshit worshipped the Padukas daily, and then this was done by Lakshman Khacheshwar Jakhadi. In the first 5 years, Dr. Kothare sent ₹2 per month for lighting the lamp, and he also sent the railing round the Padukas. The expense of bringing the railing from the station to Shirdi and roofing was paid by Sagun Meru Naik. Now Jakhadi Nana Pujari does the worship, and Sagun Meru Naik offers the Naivedya and lights the evening lamps.